What's up, guys? Joe at Odyssey Off-Road here. Working on the Scrambler again. It's my brother's Scrambler. You guys probably already seen mine on the channel and last upload, probably before this one. And we were putting in an exhaust system on this one here today, so we're going to show you what a little sound clip of its stock right now. Do a little rev, Chris. This stock exhaust, and we'll show you what's going to sound like with the HMF exhaust we're going to put on there. So we've got the HMF full dual exhaust kit. We'll get it out of the box here. We'll show you. We'll lay it all out, show you what it looks like, and then we're going to work on getting it installed. But it should make a big difference. It's also got the Dyno Jet tuner for it. It's a plug-in flash tuner, so it's not a piggyback tuner. You don't got to run all kinds of wires and hook it up. It just plugs right into the ECU, the diagnostic port, and upload the tune, unplug it, and you're good to go. So it's just like getting it, you know, a flash tune from a tuning performance shop, you know, where they would tune it for you. It's just they upload it, flash it right onto the computer. You don't need to leave nothing in there. It'd be nice to have something like that for the sport quads instead of having them wired in and piggybacked. But so let's get this unboxed. All the goodies here. We'll lay them all out and we'll show you what we're installing. All right, guys, check it out. So this is what we got. This is what we're working with here. Got the dual exhaust system. It's basically a 2 into 1 and then back into 2, the way they make it. So you have 2 separate mufflers. This is the header pipe, which goes to your motor. Then it'll go down to 1, and then that goes to here, and then it goes back out to 2 again to go to your 2 mufflers. So it comes with the mounting plate for the back for the mufflers, and then this is the HMF's got their tune loaded in here already, so you can order the Dyno Jet right from HMF. When you get your exhaust from HMF, you can get their fuel optimizer, or you can opt to spend, I think it's about like another $100, right, Chris? Was it? For the difference in price for this over the HMF one?
Yeah, like 100 and change, so might as well get that one.
Yeah. So it's a little over $100, and you get this one here, which is an actual flash tuner. It's not just fuel optimizer. So whereas the other ones are just adding more fuel so that you're not running too lean. This is a complete tune. So HMF has their tune. It's loaded into here. You plug this into your diag port and just upload the file map and done. And
the fuel optimizer $299. I think that was $459.
Okay, so yeah, so
discount on it, so
$150 difference. And to me, if you can afford this kit here, which is not cheap, you know, it's about $1,100. You can go splurge for the extra $150 for the tuner, because it's definitely worth it. You're going to get more performance than just dumping more fuel into it. This is a complete tune rather than just adding more fuel. So you know your ignition timing. It takes out. It raises the rev limiter. There's a bunch of other features. We'll break it out exactly what it does, and I'll kind of go over that towards the end of the video here. But it does a lot more than just add fuel, is my point. And you're going to get a lot more performance gain when you couple this with the exhaust. So let's get this wall of plastics off here. Chris is working on that right now. The first step is pop the seat off, and then you can take the side plastic off to kind of expose the header pipe. And it's basically 2 pieces right here. We're going to take off this one up there and then these black ones. And then that's pretty much all we need to get off. So we'll get those suckers off, and then we'll show you what we got. All right, so we are exposed. As you can see, we got the plastics off. So we have full access here now, and then we're just going to start getting the exhaust system off. To get the plastics off, super easy. You do not need to take this whole piece off. You just take out the one rivet here, and then once you pop out the rivets for the side pieces, you can just move this out of the way enough to get the plastics right out. So it makes it easy enough. And then take the footwell off. It's just a bunch of plastic rivets and then a couple 10mm bolts of us.
for the footwell, yeah.
For the footwell, and then
the shield was a T40.
And then 2 T40s that go into the side of the black panel here through the heat shield. You have to kind of get the footwell off, because to get the black plastic side panel off, you need a little more room, because it's got the heat shield attached to it. So it's not really pliable enough to maneuver it out without getting the footwell off. So easy enough, though. Quite honestly, it took under 5 minutes to get that stuff off. So So far, so good. We're off to an easy start. We're going to get the exhaust system off here, which shouldn't be too bad either. You know, you have pretty good access to the bolts from what it seems like, especially this front pipe here. So we'll get those undone and then get the exhaust springs off here, pull the muffler off and everything. Then we'll get to installing the HMF system. All right, guys. So this seems like to me pretty easy. We got this 2 springs off here, and that's all that holds the coupler. The muffler is just, you know, the like pins, brackets on the bottom of the muffler that slide into the rubber grommets, and that holds it in place. And then the springs hold it on the pipe. There's no bolts or anything like that, from what it doesn't seem like. So we got the springs off, and then we got the 13 millimeter nuts off of here for the header pipe. I will tell you, if you're watching this and you haven't done an exhaust system, pull your side panel off and check the nuts on the header bolts, because the back one here, the one back there, was actually finger tight. I didn't apply any pressure with the ratchet; it just came right off. And then the front one here on this back pipe was also very, very loose. The front pipe, they were pretty tight, but those back two, especially the one back there, was finger tight at best. And this is all we used. Got them all off with that 3/8 ratchet, 13 millimeter, and a swivel head. So we're going to see if this just slides out like we think it's going to. There it goes. It's coming.
Moving.
Yeah. It's almost out of the pins in the back. Something else holding it, or? No, they're almost out. Should be it. Yeah, she's disconnected from the pipe, so a couple wiggles. Maybe a little WD-40 on those rubber grommets would have helped.
Put a little feed for me in there.
I don't know if anything else is holding it. No, it doesn't look like it. Pipe is disconnected. Might just be the exhaust. The muffler's just hitting the frame right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I just have to give it a little twist on its way out. Oh, there you go. That's it. Little WD-40 worked. Did the trick. Pop right out. So that was easy. So now this head pipe. That's it. Look at that. And that's off. One-handed. All right. So that's it. This thing's pretty hefty. Oh yeah, she weighs. That thing's heavy. Those new mufflers are way lighter. You're gonna say, not that it's gonna make. You're probably not gonna feel the difference with a 900-pound machine, but you are gonna lose some weight getting rid of that suitcase there and installing these. These are way lighter. Even the two of them together is significantly lighter than that thing. So we'll work on getting this installed. I'm gonna go through the instructions quick. Instructions seem pretty good. They give you colored pictures, list of all the parts. Colored pictures are nice, so you can kind of make sure you're doing everything right. First step is going to be to get this plate installed and then U-bolts on the frame to hold the plate installed. There's some U-bolts here. It even comes with a new exhaust donut. So you see these U-bolts. They're going to go on the frame in the back. You'll see when we get the plate installed. They're going to go on first. This way it mounts the plate. Keep everything kind of loose. And then tighten it up at the end once you get everything lined up. So we'll get this installed and we'll kind of show you guys. One more step. We just figured out you got to take this drip tray off. That comes out because the plate for the HMF mufflers mounts up here to the frame. So this drip tray's got to come off. There's just unclips in the front, and there's two little pop rivets in the back. Not pop rivets, but the plastic push pins. You got to get them from back here. Push them through, and that drip tray will come out. And then the header pipe here, this is going to go on with the factory bolts, nuts. So it's going to go in there like that, like so. You get the factory nuts on there. Put them on loosely, it says, so everything's installed. And then look at this, I'm doing it with one hand. That's how easy it is. Right? So we're going to get the nuts on there loosely. You save them from me taking the old one off. And we'll get that on there. And we'll get the mount plate installed on the back. I mean, this really has been going fairly smooth so far. Hopefully you don't run into any hiccups, but it seems fairly simple thus far. Even that back one, which is the hardest one, as you can see, I got it right on. And then with the extension and the swivel socket, it goes in no problem. Just want to make sure when you put these on, they just go in evenly. You know, you don't want to crank down one side too much more than the other. Put them in even. So there we go. It's in a little loosely, like it says. We're going to get the mount plate installed here, and we'll show you what that looks like. And then next step is getting the mid pipe and the mufflers on, and then that's pretty much it. All right, guys. So loosely getting everything installed. I just want to show you because it's kind of hard to see here. You see, there's a spacer in there. So the bracket, the mounting bracket, you'll see you use the U-bolts here. It's right. You're gonna mount that right there after you get that plastic plate out by the shock. Goes through. Put them in loosely, it says. And then in the back, those holes in the bracket will line up right here with those holes in the frame. And then you're gonna put these two bolts, a washer, another nut and a washer, through with the spacer in between. So that's one setup right there. So it's gonna go through, put the spacer in there, and then lock nut and a washer on the bottom. And that's it for the plate. It's installed, and then it's a matter of putting the mid pipe and the mufflers on after that. This here, for the header, one thing I will tell you is I got them all finger tight. That back one, you're not going to be able to get a socket in there like you can with the OEM head pipe because the pipe is thicker. So you're going to need to use an open-end wrench for the back nut to torque down once we tighten everything up. All right, guys. So the mount plate is installed. We snugged up the back ones, left the front ones a little bit loose. There's no play and there's no adjustment in the back ones, but the front there is a little bit. So once you get the mufflers on, if you kind of got to, you know, maneuver it a little bit, there's a slot here. You can kind of slide it over if you have to. There's a little bit of adjustment in there. So next step is I got the exhaust donut on the head pipe. They give you a new one with the kit. Make sure you don't wreck it if you've never done these before. This is super soft, and that stuff is toxic too, so don't be touching it. Putting your fingers in your mouth when you're done, or on your face, because they're usually made with like asbestos and lead. You don't want to be putting it in your mouth. So we're going to get the mufflers hung up on the bolts of the bracket loosely again. So once we get everything all fitted to the Y pipe, and then the Y pipe on here, and then once everything's straight, put the exhaust springs on, snug it all down. So we'll kind of take you along for the ride here. We're going to get the mufflers temped up, and we'll show you what it looks like. One step I left out here, guys. I missed on the instructions, but when you see how we get the outside muffler in and on, and you know, it's just fitted loosely. That bracket right there on the frame, where you see my brother's getting the bolts off, that unbolts from the frame. That's the rear mount for the stock muffler, so that comes off. Two 10mm bolts. Get that out of the way. This way the pipe doesn't hit it. All right, as you can see, we got it all in place, pretty much installed. And as easy as it started, it kind of got a little difficult at the end. So the mid pipe was real tough getting into for whatever reason, that the inside muffler here. It was just getting it back, and it's still not 100%. Like the pipe needs to sit almost into the Y pipe, maybe like an 1/8 inch more, and it would be perfect, just to line up the back of the mufflers.
I could line that down.
It's we got it fairly close with kind of adjusting the bracket, but it would have been easier if there was a little bit more of a, if they kind of just flared out the end of this pipe here, just even an 1/8 inch more, a 1/4 inch more, just to kind of give you a little bit of wiggle room, because it makes it extremely difficult. You got to use, like you can see, he's kind of trying to get it lined up by using the brackets. So that was a little bit hard. And then the head bolts, I got them all tightened down, torqued down. This back one is, with the new head pipe, very difficult to get to. It was very easy to get off with the stock head pipe because the pipe diameter is much smaller. But you can only use a regular 13 millimeter wrench and get it in there. You can't even get the box end on it. So kind of got to go from underneath. You like quarter turn at a time, then come from the top, quarter turn. It's very, very tight back there. But we got it in there. It looks good. Looks like it's going to be nice. It's going to get the mufflers tightened up, and then we'll give it its first start. All right, guys. Exhaust is installed. We have the Dyno Jet flash tuner hooked up to the diag port. The diag port is under the hood. It just sits in here in this blank, and then you pull it out, plug it into the cable. See, it says reading ECU. That's kind of a slow process. It reads it very slowly. Basically matches. It syncs this to your ECU, so you'll never be able to use this on another one once it's paired to this ECU. It works on one machine. You see the exhaust is installed. A little bit of adjustments to get it perfect, and it's not 100% perfect. It's as close as we're going to get it. You can see what I was talking about with the top from the top. This one is back just a drop, probably like 1/8 of an inch. I don't know how good the camera's showing it, but it's not. It's about 1/8 of an inch, I would say. Back this one, you know, as soon as you stand back to here, you can't even tell. It's only when you're like really looking right over top. So we believe me, we tried everything to get it more. The thing is, this muffler needs to be back further in the Y pipe, and it doesn't. It's seated as far as it goes. It doesn't go in anymore. So, but it looks good. It looks nice. Like I said, you can't even tell unless you're looking standing over at the top. And once we get the tune loaded, we're going to give it a fire up and see how she sounds, see how she runs. Comes with an extra piece of heat shield there to install where the exhaust comes close. So, all right. Well, the flashing of the tune is done. Once you pair it, you follow the instruction on the screen. It's very straightforward. There's only 2 tunes it'll show. One says STK next to it. That's the stock tune. And then the other one is obviously the tune from HMF that you're going to load. And so now it says to verify, turn key off and then back on. All right, looks like it's working. It's ready for its first startup. So we'll get this thing fired up, and fingers crossed, no exhaust leaks, and everything's installed correctly. We got the garage door open because probably going to be a little smoky for the new exhaust. We might actually have to roll this back to the back of the door. He's going to leave the plastics off for the start it up, let it run, shut it down, let it cool off, make sure the bolts are all torqued good, and then put the plastics back on. So, because you know, in expansion and contraction with the heat, sometimes you want to just let everything heat up, cool off again, and then check, make sure everything's tight before final assembly. That's how we like to do it anyway. Or just you probably be okay with it, but then, you know, 4 or 5 months from now, maybe you got a loose bolt. This way, you kind of alleviate that, make sure it's torqued down good after the first heat cycle, and shouldn't have those issues. So we'll get it moved towards the back of the garage here. We'll start her up. All right, guys, first startup. Let her rip, Chris. She's throaty. Oh yeah, you can feel it. You can feel the exhaust. It's like standing next to a muscle car. It's a real nice sound on idle. Woo! It's gonna bark. See, now the thing with the Dyno Jet, you can actually leave these in, and what you can do is you can set each channel to show you something different. You know, you can do voltage, RPMs, all kinds of stuff. You don't really need that. You know, you have that on, you have a screen here, but some people like to see that stuff, and you can just leave that plugged in and it, you know, take this, Velcro it here or something. I prefer to just remove it all together because these screens don't do well in the sun with the heat. So, and you can set all kinds of channels on them. It's like different screens. 12 up to 16 there. It sets 16 different parameters for it to save. So, give it some gas, Chris. Give it the beans. What do you think? Loud, huh? I think it sounds compared to the Renegade exhaust we had. It's louder, you think? Yeah, it might be a little louder than the Renegade was. The Renegade was loud with the Yoshi, but this seems just a different kind of sound. Woo! Well, guys, that is it. What do you think? Sucker's loud. Maybe we'll take it out and take it up the road, do a little pass by, see what it is. See if we got the green beast here next to us. New Tundra. You've seen that on the last video, or a couple videos ago, depending on when this one comes out. That's something that's loud. You can see you can't keep the tires suspended. Look at the ground. Left stretch marks. Thing's an animal. I'd say the Renegade was faster in a straight line, but with this tune and exhaust, it might be close now. Whew. She is loud. See all that smoke coming off. She's burning. See what he thinks. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's going to go on the next block over. You can still hear him. Oh, yeah, she's screaming. Woo! Breaking the ESN loose, huh? Huh? Yeah. He says this feels quicker. You can usually, I tell you what, guys, if you guys been following my channel for a long time, you'll know I have that Dyno Jet tuner on my old Can-Am Maverick Sport side by side, and it made a huge difference. So they do work really well. And this one, this tune is specially set up. You know, it's set up. HMF loads it on there for specifically their exhaust, so it's matched for that exhaust system. So there you have it, guys. That's the install. He's gonna pull it in the garage, let this cool off good, and then check all the torque on the bolts, make sure everything's nice and tight still, and then just put those side plastics back on, and that's it. So that's the install. Sound test. You see she's still burning off. It's gonna take a few heat cycles to get that all burned out, yeah, all those oils and stuff. Not that bad riding. It's loud as hell when you from the outside. I can tell you that much. So guys, smash that like button on your way out. If you like this one, we got more to come. We're gonna probably maybe do a different exhaust on my Scrambler, and since he's got the HMF duals, maybe we'll go a different route with mine. Then we can compare. Yeah, that video was uploaded already. So we will see you guys on the next one. I hope you guys like this. Again, smash the thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't know what you're waiting for. Plenty of great content here on Odyssey Off-Road, ATVs, trucks. What more could you ask for? So we'll see you guys out on the trail. Remember, clean up after yourselves when you're out there. Keep the trails open for everybody, and we will see you on the next video.